In this video, we're going to talk about equations. And I think it's fitting to start with the definition. So by definition, an equation is a statement that asserts that two expressions are equal. So in other words, as long as you have something equals something, we have ourselves an equation. So for example, 4 plus 1 equals 5. That can be an equation. X plus 3 equals 11. That can be an equation. X plus X equals X plus 7. This is an equation. As long as we have one expression that's equal to another expression, we are dealing with an equation. Now, there are some equations that don't have variables, like this one, for example, 4 plus 1 equals 5. These aren't very interesting. We even have a name for these. We call these equations equalities, and they're really not interesting at all. 4 plus 1 equals 5, great. Not much I can do about that. Equations that do have variables, however, are the ones that are of interest to us because, well, we don't know everything there is to know about them yet, right? When we have x plus 3 equals 11, we have a mystery. We have this number x and, well, a symbol x that stands for a number, and we don't know what that number is. Before dealing with equations, when we dealt with expressions and we had an expression like x plus 3, there was no way for us to say what the value of this mystery number x is. But when we put it in an equation, when we have x plus 3 equals 11, we suddenly have enough information to figure out the solution. And so the solution of an equation becomes of critical importance. So going back to this equation, I'll rewrite it again, x plus 3 equals 11. The solution of this equation is basically the number that I can plug into x to make the equality true. In this case, the solution is x equals 8. And we can check if we plug 8 into x, we get 8 plus 3 equals 11. Well, of course, that's true, right? We know 8 plus 3 equals 11. If we plugged any other number in for x, it wouldn't work. Like if I plugged 5 into x, 5 plus 3 is not 11. Or if I plug 13 into x, 13 plus 3 is also not 11. Right? We have one solution, and in this case, the solution is unique, right? There's no other solution to this equation. As you learn more about equations, you'll see some equations actually could have more than one solution, but in this case, this is the only solution. You might be wondering, how do we figure out what the solution to the equation is? And that will be a topic for a later conversation. But for now, you should be satisfied in understanding that you know that x equals 8 is the solution by simply plugging 8 into x and making sure that that the equality is true. Now, one more thing that's really, really important for us to understand is that there are ways that we can manipulate equations. What I mean by that is we can change what the equation looks like while preserving the correct solution. And we do that by basically doing the same thing to both sides of the equation. That's really the golden rule of equations, if there is one. Do unto one side as you would do to another. So if I come back to my equation, the x plus 3 equals 11, remember the solution was x equals 8. if I do the same thing to both sides of these equations, let's say that I take the left side, right? That's what's up to the left of the equal sign, x plus 3, and I add 7 to it. And I take the right side, which is 11, and I add 7 to that, right? So I had the left side and I had the right side, and I added 7 to both. I did the same thing to both sides of the equation. What you will find is, and by the way, I can simplify this, right? Because 3 plus 7 is 10, so that's x plus 10. And 11 plus 7 is 18, right? I can rewrite this in a simpler way. My solution, x equals 8, is still true, right? If I let x equal 8, 8 plus 10 is 18. So this is really, really, really important thing to understand. You can add the same thing to both sides. I could subtract the same number from both sides. I could, for example, start with x plus 3 equals 11, and I could subtract 2 from both sides, right? Also works. Adding 3 and subtracting 2, that's like adding 1. Or if you don't want to go down that route, you can just keep these numbers as they are. Just x plus 3 minus 2 equals 11 minus 2 is 9. You don't have to simplify this 3 minus 2 yet if you don't feel comfortable. But either way, if I let x equal 8, you'll see that 8 plus 3 is 11, minus 2 is 9, still true. So again, as long as you do the same thing to both sides of the equation, your solution will be the same. And this is going to be a really, really important idea going forward.